What's up guys, Max here, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you guys the process of me plasti dipping my front Chevrolet emblem on my Camaro. You guys can use these tips to plasti dip any emblem on any car, but without further ado, I'm just going to be showing you guys my process, so let's get right into it. The first thing you are going to want to do is just clean the surface. I just took a microfiber cloth, put some water on it, and then I use the other side to just dry it off, just so you're not putting the plasti dip over a dirty surface. Next, if you're going to be plasti dipping the whole emblem, you probably are going to want to remove the emblem. For me, it was a little difficult to do, so I just decided what I was going to do was tape over all the chrome and then just plasti dip that weird mustardy gray color. I can't even really explain the color, but that's basically what I decided to do. So I took tape, I used scissors, I just cut the tape, and then just basically very carefully put that all around where I want to be plasti dipping. You just want to make sure you're doing it pretty exact, because if you go over a spot or you don't do enough, you're gonna end up plasti dipping a place you either don't want to plasti dip, or a space is not going to be covered that you want it to be covered. So that's what you want to do. So obviously I made it a little more difficult on myself because I wanted to keep that chrome surrounding the emblem, but if you were blacking out the logo or the emblem completely, this method and these tips that I'm talking about you can use for that too. I have a feeling most people that are watching this are going to be going with that instead of this, but you obviously can use it for both. So this is what it looks like with all the tape surrounding the emblem. The next thing I did was I actually took a garbage bag and ripped it up into a bunch of different pieces, and then I taped that on the area surrounding the tape. So even though you already taped off the area that you're going to be plasti dipping, I still feel like this is a good extra measure to use, because a lot of times if you're plasti dipping outside, there could be a lot of wind and you don't want it blowing anywhere. Obviously, if you get the plasti dip on your car, it's not the worst thing in the world. It is somewhat easy to take off. You could probably just take some alcohol and a microfiber cloth. You should be alright, but if you just want to avoid that at all, and in general, I would just recommend either using a garbage bag or something else to mask off the rest of the area where you could potentially get some plasti dip on. So that's what I'm doing here. It's a pretty easy thing to do. It just takes a few minutes. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. Like I said, if this is too much of a pain, I wouldn't go overboard with this, just because, you know, it is pretty easy to take the plasti dip off if you spray it just a little bit somewhere where you don't want it. So I wouldn't spend too much time on this, but for me, it really only took 5 extra minutes or something like that, maybe not even. So for me, it was worth it. So just keep that in mind. So after you finish that, it should look something like this. So it's still pretty messy, but at least you have some of the area covered. So you just want to do even layers with the plasti dip, and I would do about 4 coats and wait a few minutes in between each coat. And then after that, when you're done applying the even coats, maybe 4 of them, you want to actually take a little X-Acto knife and just go in between the cracks of where you have the tape, and that'll ensure when you take the tape off, everything looks good. So when you take the tape off, you can go back and use the X-Acto knife to make it look even better, but right after, this is what it looks like, and I think it looks pretty good. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope this was helpful and you guys learned something. I feel like the final result, it did turn out pretty well. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm out.